Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards here for Pour Some Stamps today, and I'm bringing you a very simple winter themed Missing You card, and I'm going to be using this gorgeous Berry Christmas stamp set. It's one of my favorites and I especially love these snowflakes, so I decided to try and use them in a way that kind of made them stand out on my card today. So I'm taking those two snowflakes and I'm just attaching them to an acrylic block, and then I'm going to prep this piece of kind of bluish turquoisey coloured cardstock with some anti-static powder, and I'm going to be using my Versamark ink pad here, and I'm just going to stamp these snowflakes out kind of willy-nilly all over this back piece of card. So I'm going to start off with this one, and then I'm going to switch around and start using the other one. And I'm trying to kind of place a few going off the edge of the cardstock as well, just so it looks like this pattern continues. I wasn't 100% sure about what I was going to be doing with this just at this point. I hadn't quite decided what direction I wanted to go in. I just knew that I really wanted to use these snowflakes and I really wanted to have them kind of be the star of the show. So that's just where my thought direction, my process was. And I decided that I wanted to white heat emboss these onto this blue coloured cardstock. So here I'm just bringing out this little kind of tidy tray, and I have my white embossing powder, which I'm spooning all over those beautiful snowflakes. And I will just tap the excess off, and then I will add a little bit more where I feel it needs it. There's a few spots that didn't quite get covered the first time. And once I'm happy that everything is okay, I will go ahead and bring out my heat tools. I'm going to set that powder aside and bring out my heat tool. I just have to let it warm up for a little bit because I haven't used it for a little while. Once it's getting warm, I put it kind of all over the back of the cardstock first of all, and then I'll heat up all of my snowflakes on the front. And I'm sorry I've cut the top of this off. I wasn't concentrating on where my camera was facing. I hope you all had a beautiful Christmas. I hope you had a really lovely time. I am scheduling this a film for Boxing Day, so the 26th of December 2022. Can you believe we are nearly in 2023? It's unreal how fast this year has gone. So to finish off this kind of back panel, I'm bringing out some chipped sapphire distress oxide ink, and I'm just going around the edges, and doesn't this make those snowflakes pop? I just love the way this looks. And I will be going over, so obviously the ink can stain the snowflakes a little bit, but all you need to do is to take a dry cloth, and you'll see me bring out a paper towel here in a minute, and I'll just wipe off all of the excess and buff those snowflakes so that they come up looking beautiful. And isn't that gorgeous? These snowflakes are just stunning. Love them. So I have gone ahead and coloured out my little bear. It's very simple colouring today. I made him look like a polar bear, so I've just used some light grey markers for him and some blue and turquoise for his little scarf. And now I'm just adding some white gel pen details into his little eyes, his nose, and on his scarf. I decided that I was going to make a square card today, so I trimmed that back panel down, and I have this kind of little scalloped frame that I'm going to use for my card. I'm making this card very, very simple today. It's flat. There's no dimension. There's nothing exciting going on with it. It's very simple. I just wanted those little snowflakes in the back to stand out. They're kind of the star of the show. So I've attached some glue to the back of my bear, and I'm going to place him on there right in the center of the card, right towards the bottom. So he lines up with the edge of the bottom of the card. And so that way my little frame will cover up the bottom part of him, and it will kind of make it look like he continues out of the frame, if that makes sense. So I've just attached some liquid glue to the frame as well, and I'm going to attach that on. I like to turn it over and give it a good smoosh down and make sure it's all stuck on nicely. Okay, so it's all that's left is a sentiment, and yeah, I hadn't really thought this out, so the sentiment was kind of a last minute decision. And I did think about using a banner, but then I decided that I wanted to use the sentiment from the stamp set, which says, "Miss you very much." So what I am going to do is mask off the very much part of my sentiment and stamp out the miss you onto the front in a little space between a couple of snowflakes. And I'm just using some black ink for this. I do go ahead and stamp it out a couple of times so I get a nice crisp finish to that ink. And now I'm taking my Copic multi-liner and I'm just adding a couple of ellipses to the end of that sentiment so that the recipient knows that the sentiment continues on the inside of the card. And I've stamped out that very much on the inside there. And I'll just add a couple of ellipses to the front of that so it all matches up nicely. So the sentiment reads, "Miss you very much." And I just thought that was really sweet. And having just spent Christmas, we don't live near any of our family. We do have a relative joining us for Christmas. But it's, it's a time of year where you do miss your family if you're not around them. So I just thought this was a nice little way to let them know that I'm thinking of them and that we miss them over Christmas. So once that is attached, that is my card done. And I really hope you enjoyed this one today. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to the Pawsome Stamps channel. We'd love to see you come back and join us again. And please do check out these other videos that I've left here that you might enjoy as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.